Hello everybody, my name is Graham Elwood. You are watching The Political Vigilante. So the question has been asked of how the media, Brittany Abbey asked this question, are portraying the protesters, and I'm assuming that's the want to go back to work protesters. They're portraying them as Nazis, and do you think they're covering up how bad Congress is handling the situation, or are they just trying to divide us? Well, both. Both, Brittany. That's dividing us is a way to cover up. Always ask these questions. When everyone's talking, when there's mainstream media and everyone on social media is up in arms about something, always stop and go, what are we not talking about? Always ask that question and always follow the money. The truth is in the money. But, so what are we not talking about when we're depicting, and yes, they're a bunch of Trump supporters and they got MAGA hats, but we're depicting them as dumb and racist or whatever, and maybe some of them are. But how the corporate media is not saying is capitalism is so brutal, it's killing people. That's what the corporate media is not saying. They're not saying these people are so desperate. If Congress was giving them free health care and $2,000 a month UBI and freezing their rents, these people wouldn't have to protest. We actually should have some sympathy and compassion. This is how brutal this is, and we're all brainwashed to think, oh, capitalism is great and I want my freedoms. And so this is how the corporate media, so now we're divided. Oh, we're the blue stater neoliberals. Look at these dumb MAGA hat wearing idiots. That's how they're trying to, that's how they keep us divided. And now we're talking about, look how dumb they are for protesting. What we're not doing is, oh, hey, both parties in the Senate and Congress just gave $4.25 trillion to the goddamn banks. That's what we're not talking about. And then everyone goes on social media and look at these dummies or whatever. We're divided. We're not talking about how awful Congress and no one's calling out AOC and Bernie. I'm sorry, they voted for this bullshit stimulus plan. What we should all be screaming about is capitalism has brainwashed us. So I wouldn't take this tactic, and I don't agree with a lot of those protesters and what they're doing in terms of why, but in terms of how they're acting it out. I'm like, I mean, that's crazy, but it shows you the bigger picture. Let's look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture, when you step back and look at the bigger picture, that's where we always see how the ruling class is fucking us and keeping us divided. So now we're in a good old red state, blue state, distracting fight. A ridiculous, my team's better than your team. You're wearing your MAGA hat jersey. I'm wearing my, Biden hat. It's sports. Now we're sports. Now it's the Red Sox and the Yankees. That's all we're doing. Rather than talking about, and the corporate media will never do this because the corporate media is owned by the billionaires and the ruling class. It is the propaganda marketing arm of the ruling class. What we should be doing is those people we've all been so brainwashed and beaten down and propagandized that rather than a general strike because it's ridiculous that people are being asked, some people are being asked, frontline workers in stores and stuff are being asked to go to work and die for it. I just saw on NBC this woman, I believe, I forget it, maybe Ohio. Anyway, she was a 55-year-old woman. This was her son giving the story. She got COVID and died. She was working in a meat packing facility. And there was people getting COVID and they weren't protecting their employees. The same story we've heard all over the place. We've heard it from Amazon. We've heard it from fast food restaurants. We've heard it from grocery stores. We've heard it all over the place. And they hadn't put in enough protective measures for the employees. Now, this is a meat packing. This is our food. Not mine. I'm a vegetarian. I'd go plant-based. But anyway, these are are our food sources contaminated? So we're not protecting the employees. We're not protecting the people buying this. And this woman went to work because she was afraid of losing her job. And her son was literally driving home after he had just buried his mom like a couple days ago. She was 55 years old, was afraid to get fired. So she went to work and she got COVID-19 and she died from it. That's what the corporate media should be talking about. We should have free healthcare. Done. We all need how are we going to pay for it? That conversation is shut up. And what does Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats offer? Oh, we'll subsidize some of your COBRA payments on a short-term basis. Because Nancy Pelosi can't come and say, we want to give you Medicare for all. Because then it would be like, oh, remember that thing that we cheated Bernie out of? And he's so weak he wouldn't fight back, and we knew he wouldn't fight back, and now we have a rapist with dementia that's going to give us some bullshit thing. That's why they're showing us the MAGA hat people being crazy so we can go, ah, ha, ha. But we should all be thinking, it's insane. We all have had to ask ourselves questions in this last month of pandemic of like, well, so many money questions. What if people are having to make that decision. And that's why there's strikes, and that's the good thing. The people going on strikes, the Amazon, the fast food workers, or this ain't safe, or going on strike. That's what we should be encouraging those people to do, rather than chastising them and like, oh, look at those dummies. Like, go, hey, don't die for these big corporations. Go on strike. Don't be afraid of social. They're like, it's going to be socialism. Because they think socialism means, because they've been propagandized, because we all were for decades, the ruling class, the capitalists, have done a fantastic job, literally since World War II, if not sooner, if not since the 30s, of taking the word socialism, which just means everybody gets it equally. Democratic socialism specifically, like socialism is workers own the means of production, right? That doesn't mean, that's all it means, workers own the means of production. Democratic socialism means all of our tax money pays for this library, we all get to use it. All of our tax money pays for the fire department. Any of us need to call, the fire department shows up no matter where you live. Any of us, the tax money, this parks, all that stuff. That's all that means. But they've done such an amazing job of and it's usually like people like in their 40s or 50s or older, because I grew up as a kid in the 70s and 80s hearing Soviet Union, bad, Stalin, evil Soviet Union. They were scary. And they tied socialism to totalitarian Soviet Union era communism. So they've tied those together. So now people have been so propagandized with fear and told it's noble to die for your job. He worked at that factory for 35 years and he died on the job. You've heard those kind of stories. It's like noble. That's the one percenters, the capitalists, the ruling class fed us that bullshit. It's noble to die for your job. No, it's not. Unless your job is a firefighter or EMT or like rescuing people. Like I ran into a burning building and I saved, 10 kids and I died for that. Well, but no one should die fucking flipping burgers. So don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. And someone at those protests has a Confederate flag and yes, be critical if they're being openly racist. But they're victims. We all are victims of this brutal capitalist society, and the media loves their job is to keep us divided, distracted, and afraid. Because the last thing they want is those, I want to go back to work, MAGA hat wearing people joining a union, getting those people to realize you don't want to go back to work, you want to join a general strike. That they don't want. They're getting scared because like the unions are coming in and people are saying, no, I'm not. And all these questions are being asked. I saw on NBC News, they're like, wow, capitalism is really being criticized. Yeah. Well, the small business loan money, it got wiped out in 30 minutes. And who got small business loans? Big chains. Because there was a loophole. The corporate media is like, well, there was a loophole in the small business loan that said, you can't have more than 500 employees at each location. So it's like some chain of what was it, Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Well, they have like, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 employees all across the country, but they don't have more than 500 in each location. That's how they got around that. So small business owners like me and you, we got fucked. So a big corporation that doesn't need the money got it ahead of us because the whole system's rigged. They don't want us to see the whole system's rigged. This pandemic is showing how awful it is. So that's our job, is to put that truth out there. Don't chastise those people. Wake them up. Show, hey man, we're all getting screwed. Don't yell at them, you dumb MAGA hat dummy. Go, we're all getting screwed. We all need to do a general strike. You don't want to die, because here's what's going to happen. They go back to work. Some of these cities, they open the beaches back up in Jacksonville. Guess what? 2-3 weeks from now, there's going to be a spike in numbers in Jacksonville. They're going to have to shut all the beaches down. That's going to happen. They're going to let those people go back to work. I'm not going in a crowded place. I'm not doing that. The numbers are going to spike, and then everything's really going to get shut down again. And then what? They're going to give us another $1,200 table scrap. I haven't even gotten mine yet. I got turned down for unemployment. I got turned down. Oh, I thought Bernie fought for me to get gig workers and part-time people like me unemployment. No, I got turned down. I got turned down for the small business loan, and the $1,200 hasn't shown up. Boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Get the truth out. Hey, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/GrahamElwood or rockfin.com/GrahamElwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.